Okay, I want to start today by taking you to a specific moment.
I think I know where you're going with this.
It's late, the late hours of the day. The house is finally quiet. Or, hey, maybe it's chaotic, it doesn't really matter. The point is, you are tired.
So tired.
Your fuse is short, and something small happens. A spilled cup, a lost shoe, a wine that's gone on just a little too long, and you just
No
snap.
explosion.
The explosion. You yell, or maybe you don't yell, maybe you just get that icy, harsh tone. You shut down, and immediately the whole atmosphere in the room just changes. You look at your child and you see that look in their eyes, and then comes that sinking feeling.
Oh, the guilt.
The guilt, the thought that says, I have failed. I've broken this.
It's such a visceral feeling, isn't it?
Mhm.
That sensation of a rupture. And for most of us, I think our first instinct in that moment is to panic.
Right.
We think we need to fix it immediately, or that the relationship is somehow, fundamentally damaged. We see that rupture as proof that we're doing something wrong.
Exactly. We go straight into damage control. But today, we are going to completely flip the script on that panic.
I like the sound of that.
We're doing a deep dive into this really beautiful, philosophical, and yet incredibly practical essay. It's simply titled Repair.
It's by the writer and philosopher Pedro Maja.
And I have to say, this isn't just another parenting article. This feels almost structural.
It is structural. That is the perfect word for it. Mala isn't giving us a hack for getting kids to put their shoes on.
No.
He's arguing that the snap, that rupture you just described, it isn't a failure of parenting.
It's a feature of it.
It's a feature, not a bug. And the magic isn't in preventing the snap from ever happening.
It's impossible.
Impossible. The magic is in what happens next, the repair. He calls repair a structural feature of love.
So that's our mission today. We're going to unpack that idea. We'll look at why we break connection, why Maha says that breaking it is, well, statistically inevitable.
And how we build it back.
And as just a quick note for you listening, we're talking about parenting because that's the lens of the essay, but really, if you're a human being trying to love another human being over a span of years,
This applies to you.
this is for you.
It applies to everyone. Because if you live with someone,
Yeah.
you will hurt them eventually.
Yeah.
The question is just, do you know how to return?
Okay, let's start with a definition then, because when I see the word repair, I usually imagine a big, a Hallmark moment.
Right, the swelling music, the tearful apology.
Yes, the big sit-down conversation where everyone explains their feelings and we all learn a valuable moral lesson.
The cinematic version of forgiveness.
But Masha just strips all of that away. He argues that real repair is actually kind of boring.
Ordinary is the word he uses. And I think this is the first huge insight to really lock in. Mala says we need to move repair out of the emergency room and into the kitchen.
The kitchen.
He uses these analogies that are deliberately mundane. He says repairing a relationship belongs to the same category as wiping a surface you just cleaned a short while ago.
Or refilling a glass that was full earlier in the day.
Or answering the same question for the third time.
I love that counter-wiping analogy because it's so frustratingly real. You don't wipe a counter and think, oh my God, I'm a failure as a homeowner because this counter got dirty again.
No, of course not.
You just wipe it. It's just crumbs.
And that is the shift. Mala writes, it repeats because time repeats. I mean, think about how liberating that is. You don't view doing laundry as a crisis.
No.
You don't see doing the dishes as a sign that your kitchen is fundamentally broken. It's just maintenance. Mala wants us to see relational repair as emotional maintenance.
It's just the tax you pay for living together.
Exactly. It takes the moral weight out of it.
So Marcy stops being about good parent versus bad parent.
Right, and starts being about maintained relationship versus unmaintained relationship. If we treat every rupture like a moral catastrophe, we just burn out.
We can't do the work.
We can't. But we treat it like laundry, something that just needs tending to, we can actually do it.
But before we get to the fixing, let's talk about the breaking, the rupture. Because I think we often miss it. We think rupture is only the screaming match.
The door slam.
Yes, the big stuff. But Mahal points out it's usually much, much quieter.
So much quieter. He describes rupture as a sensation of something being off.
A signal jam.
A signal jam, yes. It might be a sudden silence from your child or a body turning away. It's very subtle.
He mentions a delay in laughter that used to come easily. Oof, that one hit me hard. It's those micro moments where you realize the flow has stopped, you make a joke, and they just They don't smile.
And that is often harder to spot than a full-blown tantrum. A tantrum is loud, it demands your attention,
Right.
but a
Yeah.
withdrawal is easy to miss if you aren't really paying attention. It doesn't announce itself as damage, it just indicates that the connection has been paused.
So if this is happening constantly, the tone shifts, the patience wears thin, the counter gets dirty, why? I think a lot of parents have this story that if we were just better, more mindful,
More zen.
yeah, we wouldn't snap. But Mala has a theory on this that is actually quite forgiving.
It is forgiving, but it's based on a really harsh reality. He argues that rupture happens not because parents are careless, but precisely because care is constant.
Care is constant. Okay, unpack that for us.
Well, just look at the physics of the role, right? Parenting, or any primary caregiving, is a job with no off switch.
There's no clocking out in the late afternoon.
You don't get weekends off. You are constantly on the hook for another life's well-being. And Mala says this creates a persistent, low-level pressure.
The vigilance.
The vigilance,
Yeah.
yes. And statistically, no human being can operate under constant pressure without misfiring. It's just impossible.
It's not a glitch in the system.
No.
It's the result of the system running without a break.
Exactly. And this leads to what Mala calls the weight of repair. The reason it feels so heavy to us, why we dread admitting we were wrong, is because we interpret the need for it as evidence of our inadequacy.
I yelled, therefore I am bad.
Right. The shame spiral. Malha argues that the heaviness isn't caused by the act of apologizing. It's caused by the story we tell ourselves about it.
The interpretation.
The interpretation. If we see it as proof of failure, it accumulates shame. It becomes this heavy burden. But if we see it as evidence of a relationship just continuing under pressure,
Like the support beams of a house settling.
that's a great image.
Then the weight just lifts.
That is a massive perspective shift. It's not, I broke it. It's, we are living through this. Okay, so we've established that braking is normal and maintenance is required. Let's get into the mechanics. How do we actually do this wiping of the counter? Because Mala says something really interesting here. Repair is rarely clean, and it doesn't always look like words.
This is the second big takeaway for me. We live in a very verbal culture. We think repair means a perfectly drafted apology script.
I am sorry for X. I will do Y next time. Do you forgive me?
Yes. But Malha suggests that for children especially, repair is often enacted rather than declared.
Enacted.
Yeah.
So action over explanation. Exactly. I mean, think about how a child experiences the world. They're sensory creatures. Mala talks about the physical acts of returning.
Like what?
Just sitting beside the child, making space on the sofa, softening your face without needing to explain why you were hard a moment ago, a hand on a back.
He mentions resuming a familiar routine, like maybe we had a fight a little while ago, but now I'm making lunch. And I ask if you want the crusts cut off, just like always.
That's it. That right there is the repair.
But is that enough? There's a part of me that worries that's just, I don't know, sweeping it under the rug.
That's a common fear.
Aren't we supposed to hash it out?
Mala distinguishes between ignoring the problem and reestablishing safety. The crusts cut off moment signals a return to the rhythm. It answers the child's silent question.
Which is?
Well, the child isn't usually asking, did you logically assess your behavior and find it wanting?
No.
The child is asking, are we okay? Is the scary version of you gone?
Are we okay? That's the primal question.
And sometimes, talking too much actually gets in the way of the answer. Mala explicitly says language can complicate things. It can turn into a lecture.
Oh, I'm sorry I yelled, but you really need to listen to me when I ask you to stop.
Oof. Yes. That's not repair. That's just a continuation of the argument.
I've done that. The non-apology apology. It starts as an apology and it ends as a performance review.
We all have. But the body doesn't lie. If you can physically soften, if you can physically return to their space, that signals safety much louder than any speech.
The body knows how to re-enter connection before the brain finds the right words.
That's it.
I want to push on this a little
Sure.
because there is another fear that parents have. Malha brings this up and I hear it all the time.
Okay.
The fear that if I am always the one repairing, if I'm always the one coming back, admitting I lost my cool, am I undermining my authority?
Am I showing my kid that I'm weak?
Yes. Or that they can walk all over me.
It's the old school view of authority, isn't it? The idea that authority requires perfection, or at least the appearance of invulnerability. But Mala argues the exact opposite.
How so?
He says that authority that can return is actually more stable than authority that cannot.
That sounds good on paper, but what does it mean in practice?
Well, think about the power dynamics. As parents, we are the giants.
We hold the keys.
We are the weather system in their world, physically, emotionally, financially. When we snap, that power can feel terrifying to a child. Repair is a way of softening that power.
Without denying it.
Softening without being denied. Exactly. You aren't saying, I'm not in charge anymore. You're saying, I am in charge, but I am not fragile. I am strong enough to admit a mistake and come back to you.
That's a very secure form of strength.
A leader who can apologize is a leader you trust. A leader who can never be wrong is a tyrant.
And what's the alternative? If we refuse to repair because we want to save face...
Mala describes this really sad, but very realistic outcome. The relationship doesn't just freeze in place, it shifts. Children are incredibly intelligent survivalists. If a parent never repairs, the child adapts. They learn to reduce their expectations of that parent.
They lower the bar.
They lower the bar for connection. They learn to manage around the tension rather than moving through it. Mal writes that this protects them. It's a smart strategy, but it comes at the cost of closeness.
They stop bringing their full selves to you.
Because they don't trust that the relationship can handle the strain.
That is haunting. By trying to look strong, you actually make the bond brittle.
Exactly. A brittle material snaps. A flexible material one that can repair endures.
Speaking of endurance, Mala talks a lot about time. How repair isn't just about the immediate moment.
Right. It carries time inside it. It's cumulative.
Yeah.
Children react to the pattern, not just the single instance.
So a single moment of yelling doesn't define a childhood.
No. But a pattern of yelling without repair? That does. That creates the weather.
And this changes as kids get older, doesn't it? Repair looks different with a toddler versus a teenager.
It does, and this is where parents can get discouraged. With a younger child, distress is usually open. They cry, they reach out, they want the hug.
It's visible.
Very visible. But older children,
Mm.
teenagers, they withdraw. They deflect.
They put on headphones.
They put on headphones. They act like they don't care.
But they do.
Mala warns us. Just because an older child isn't asking for repair doesn't mean they don't need it. In fact, they might need it even more.
It just requires more patience from the parent.
So much more. You might have to make the repair attempt and have it rejected at first. You have to be the steady one.
You provide the landing strip even if they aren't ready to land yet.
Precisely.
This brings up a phrase Malha uses that I think every parent will feel in their bones. He talks about the exhaustion of attention.
Yes.
And he clarifies, this isn't just being tired from carrying groceries. It's a specific kind of mental fatigue.
This resonated so deeply with me.
Yeah.
It's the fatigue of significance. It's the awareness that every single interaction carries a potential consequence.
That your tone registers. That your words linger.
Yes. You're constantly monitoring the emotional temperature of the house. You're the radar operator.
And being the radar operator around the clock is exhausting.
So exhausting. Malha says this isn't a weakness. It's the natural result of carrying across time. But here's the crucial practical tip he offers for when you're in that state.
Okay.
Repair does not have to be immediate.
Wait, say that again? Because I think we feel like we have to fix it right now.
Malha is very clear on this. If you are too angry or too depleted, or if it's the early hours of the morning and you haven't slept, or late at night when everyone is fried,
Don't do it.
don't try to repair. You will likely just mess it up again.
You're trying to wipe the counter while your hands are still muddy.
Great analogy. Yes. Malha insists that sincerity matters more than speed. Delay does not close the door. That is a huge relief. You could fix it when you wake up.
Sometimes distance is what's needed.
Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say, I am not in a good place to talk right now, but I love you and we will sort this out later. That is a form of repair.
It's containment.
It's containment. It tells the child, I'm responsible enough to pause before I hurt you.
So let's zoom out to the bigger philosophy here. Mala talks about love not as this feeling of constant harmony.
Which is what we see on social media. The matching pajamas, the smiling faces.
Right. He defines love as a practice of staying.
A practice of staying. It's such a grounding definition. We often think successful parenting looks like a smooth road. No bumps, no conflicts.
But Malva says no. The core lesson of repair is that difficulty is survivable.
That feels like a life lesson, not just a parenting lesson.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what a child learns when a parent repairs. They aren't just learning that mom is sorry.
They're learning that a relationship can break and be put back together. That conflict isn't the end of the story.
It's just a chapter.
Exactly. They learn that they don't have to be perfect to be loved, and that others don't need to be perfect to be lovable.
That is the security.
That's the security. Mala writes that children don't need parents who never falter. They need to know that faltering doesn't end the relationship. It's not the absence of rupture. It's the confidence in repair.
And it teaches the parents something too. Maha says repair reveals our own limits.
But, and this is a key distinction, he says this self-knowledge isn't for the sake of, like, self-improvement. He's not asking us to optimize ourselves.
Thank goodness. I am so tired of optimizing.
He says it's just part of living inside responsibility. It's about accepting that we're human, we have limits, and we can still be responsible for the return. We can be flawed and still be the anchor.
Living inside responsibility. It sounds heavy, but the way he describes it, it actually sounds kind of steady, like ballast in a ship.
It is steadying. When repair is seen clearly, Mala says it settles into its proper place. It stops feeling like an emergency every time something goes wrong.
It starts feeling like maintenance.
Just tending to something that matters, the weight distributes more evenly. You aren't carrying the crushing weight of perfection, you're carrying the manageable weight of maintenance.
And that is a weight we can actually carry.
We can.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it feels like the main shift is in our heads. It's about stopping the panic when things go wrong.
That's the first step. Recognizing that the rupture is ordinary. It's not a catastrophe. And then remembering that repair is a rhythm. It's not a skill you master once and then retire.
You're going to be doing this forever.
Which sounds exhausting, but also kind of beautiful.
Right.
It means the relationship is still alive. You only stop repairing when you stop caring.
True.
Malha's final image is so powerful. He says repair doesn't announce itself as wisdom. It doesn't seek recognition. It just happens again and again as part of staying with another life across years.
Staying with another life across years. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
It is. So if you're listening and you're thinking about a moment where you snapped, maybe just this morning or maybe last week, that you're still holding on to, don't look at it as a crash. Look at it as a cue.
The counter is dirty.
The counter is dirty. Just wipe it, fill the glass, make the return.
I love that. And here's a thought to leave you with, something Mala hints at. He suggests there is no final repair. You never reach a point where everything is fixed forever. It continues as long as the relationship does. So here's the question. If repair is endless, does that make it a burden? Or is that endlessness actually what makes it the most grounding force in our lives?
Is the fact that we can always go back what makes it possible to move forward?
That's a profound question. It changes the endlessness from a curse into a promise.
Something to think about.
Something to think about the next time you find yourself needing to show that you're sorry. Thanks for diving in with us.
Always a pleasure.